You're just funny. The way you tell the story and everything.
Funny how?
Come here, though. Yeah, he's crazy, see? Who are you?
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Ladies and gents, what's up? Hey, so if you haven't listened to all the episodes, if you're new to this is a microcast, so this is just a small clip bit, maybe 5-10 minutes, depending on how I'm feeling today, where we will discuss various topics in health, wellness, and social interaction. The last microcast episode you may have listened to where we talked about the negative and positive impacts of social media. Today, we're going to be diving deeper into that topic, and we're going to talk about social media's effect on the brain. Yeah. So it's exciting. As always, I'm going to reference all the articles and the things that I'm mentioning in the episode notes. If you're watching on YouTube, check the description for those. But briefly, we're going to talk about the effect that social media has on our brain. And I referenced an article from the Center of Brain Health, which is out of the University of Texas. Again, I will link that in the episode notes. But according to this article, social media is having a significant effect on how our brains process information and interact with others. One of the main ways it's doing this is through a constant stream of notifications and alerts, which we receive from various social media accounts. These notifications can trigger the release of dopamine, which is a chemical in the brain that's associated with pleasure and reward. So every time you see that notification, or every time you see a heart or a like, whatever you're on, a follow, this can actually create a cycle of addiction because you're getting this dopamine hit, just like you would with some other pleasure reward, whether that's sexual, drugs, etc. You're getting this dopamine hit, and now you're getting sucked into this addiction. And we know this to be true, right? Because you've probably been on your phone, and the next thing you know, you tell yourself, I'm going to get off of it. But an hour goes by, and somehow you're still on it. Well, that's because the dopamine hit is so good, you can't stop. That's because you're addicted. And again, as long as you understand it and you still do it, no big deal. Just understand the side effects and what that is going to do to you long term. That's why I'm diving deep into this, because I'm super curious myself. And as this becomes kind of a condition that we're used to, we continue to want to seek this out. That's an addict, is when you're maybe at dinner with your spouse and you're bored because you're waiting on the food. Instead of interacting with your spouse, you want to whip out your phone and you want to look on your phone. And that's because the dopamine hit is so good from seeing that it's better than what's happening in real life. And that's a problem. That's what we got to fix. That's what we got to figure out. The effects of social media go beyond just the release of dopamine, by the way. The constant flow of information and stimuli can also lead to information overload. We're guilty of this, yes? This is where our brains actually struggle to process and retain all the information that's being thrown at us. So it's too much information. We can't handle it. Our brains are getting overloaded. This can actually lead to a decline in critical thinking skills. Think about it this way. When you use a tip calculator, this is how I look at it anyway. You use a tip calculator maybe on your watch or your phone. We used to have to figure that out in our head, right? But now we're using our phone. So we're not able to function so quickly as we were in the past. Very similar to where you realize you can't remember anybody's phone number. It's because you've been conditioned over the years because it's in your phone. It's in your contacts. So your brain is saying, I don't need to understand those skills because it has this little device that has everything saved, because it's not good for us long term. It's information overload. So the question is, okay, that's great, but what can we do to mitigate these negative side effects? Well, the article that I reference here suggests that setting limits on social media use can be a huge benefit. Maybe taking regular breaks from screens as a whole, even computers, laptops, etc., and engaging in activities that promote brain health, such as physical exercise, social interaction with real humans, not virtual humans, and then, of course, learning new things. This could be reading, writing, meditation, something that is outside of the box that you typically don't do. It's also important to be mindful of the sources of information we're consuming and to make an effort to seek out diverse perspectives. So finding other people or other ways of thinking, so that way it makes our brain stronger. And it's not so far-fetched, right? Like, just like working out, you want to make your brain stronger. Your brain's a muscle. You want to work it out. In order to do that, you have to do things that are outside maybe your normal way of thinking. There's a ton of benefits to social media, however, as we discussed in some previous episodes, like communicating across different countries, e-commerce business, meeting new people, and a lot more. But we need to understand the long-term effects of how to combat against social media and its power that it has over the brain. And we could do that through research and listening to the podcast. But that's all I got for you today, folks. Like I said, quick episode. I'm going to reference this article. I only read a few things from it, so I encourage you to take a look at it, read it for yourself, and just dive deeper into this. There's a lot more educational podcasts than mine in regards to this subject alone. In fact, there's other podcasts and books that focus strictly on this topic. I think it's worth listening to and to researching. Again, just like your health, physical health, you want to take care of your mental health. So just be careful how we're consuming social media and just understand what it does to the brain. So best of luck to you guys. Stay healthy, my friends. We will see you next week. Later. Oh, hey there. First of all, thanks for making it to the end of this video. Not a lot of people do, according to the YouTube analytics, but I do want to say thanks for listening to this. There's some more episodes if you want to check those out, and they're all just as good. But if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Check out those timestamps below to reference some of the topics I talked about, as well as some discount links to some of our sponsors and affiliates. But thanks for listening to this episode, and we'll see you next time.